Welcome, advocates, and congratulations on reaching episode 7 of the Digital Advocacy Series for Parents. I'm Lisa Clark, and today we're talking about one of the most powerful combinations in advocacy: data and storytelling. If you've been following this journey, we've built your digital voice, learned how to collaborate, and practice credible, responsible sharing. Now it's time to take those skills and back them up with proof. Because here's the truth: stories open hearts, data opens doors. When you combine the two, you create advocacy that's emotional and effective. So today, we'll cover how to turn your personal story into a persuasive narrative, how to use school data, surveys, and reports responsibly, how to visualize that information through infographics and canvas slides, and how to protect privacy while staying transparent. We'll end with a creative activity where you'll design your own data plus story advocacy slides. So let's get started. Let's start with the why. Stories move people emotionally. They make an issue real. Data moves people intellectually. It makes an issue credible. When you tell a story alone, it might inspire. When you share data alone, it might inform. But when you merge the two, you persuade. Here's a simple example. Story. My son's class hasn't had a full-time reading specialist all year. It's been a struggle to watch him fall behind. Data. According to the district's own report, reading scores dropped 12% last year. Advocacy message: when parents and schools work together to restore reading support, we help every child reach their potential. That's the magic. Emotion plus evidence equals impact. Now, let's talk about how to turn your personal experience into a story that moves others respectfully and strategically. Every great advocacy story has 3 parts. The moment. What happened that made you care? The meaning. Why does it matter? Not just for your child, but for others. The message. What action or change are you asking? Let's walk through it. If your story is about overcrowded classrooms, you might say, when my daughter's third grade class reached 32 students, it became harder for her teacher to get every child attention. I realized this isn't just about one classroom, it's about creating conditions where all kids can thrive. Then you connect your story to a broader goal. That's why I'm advocating for balanced classroom sizes and adequate staffing in our. Your story invites empathy. Your message invites action. And when you anchor it in verified data, your credibility soars. Let's talk about the other hand, data. Data tells the bigger story, the one beyond your experience. Here are 4 powerful sources of local data every parent advocate should know about. School or district performance reports. These often include graduation rates, attendance, literacy levels, and budget breakdowns. Department of Education school performance reports, a goldmine for verified facts about programs, demographics, and progress. Climate or satisfaction surveys. Parents and student feedback data shows where your families feel unheard or unsupported. Meeting minutes or budget documents. These reveal how decisions are made and what priorities are being funded. When you cite data, be specific and neutral. Say, according to the 2024 report, 38% of students met reading proficiency goals. Avoid, the district test scores are terrible. Specificity. builds trust. Spin destroys it. And when you combine data with lived experience, it's not just your opinion, it's evidence. Now, let's make your message visible. Visual storytelling makes advocacy digestible in the digital world, where most people won't read long paragraphs, but will engage with one powerful image. Here are 3 ways to share your data plus your story visually. Infograms. Use Canva to turn your stats into visuals. For example, pie charts show budget distribution. Comparison bars, then versus now. Quote overlays with data points. Use your brand colors to stay consistent and credible. Short videos or reels. Record a 30 to 60-second clip sharing your story with one key stat. Example. As a parent of a special needs student, I'm seeing how reduced funding affects real families. Last year, our district cut 20% from student services, and it shows. Keep it conversational, not confrontational. Carousel posts or slides. Each slide could tell a chapter of your story. The issue, the data, the impact, the call to action. This format works beautifully on Instagram, Facebook, and Canva presentations. When you show your story, people remember it. Now, an important note. Advocacy requires wisdom with what you share. Transparency builds credibility, but privacy protects people, especially when children, students, or staff are involved. Here are some best practices. Never share a child's full name, face, or identifying details without permission. Use composites or general stories when possible. A group of parents in our school district instead of Mrs. John's class. Blur faces and photos or use stock imagery that represents the issue, not the individual. Keep school staff names out of posts unless they've been publicly recognized or quoted. You can still be transparent about problems without violating privacy. It's not about withholding truth. It's about protecting dignity. All right, advocates, it's time to create your data plus story advocacy slide. Here's the simple formula. Slide 1, your story, the moment that made you care. Slide 2, data, one powerful statistic that supports it. Slide 3, your message, the action you want others to take. For example, the story. After school tutoring changed my child's confidence. Data. Last year, 42% of district students were below grade level in math. The message. Let's expand tutoring programs that help every child succeed. That's it. 3 slides, 1 purpose. Advocacy that connects hearts and minds. As we wrap up today, I want you to remember this. Data proves what your story makes people feel. When we blend our personal experiences with credible information, we create change that's not just emotional, it's effective. So, your challenge this week, create and share your data plus story slide using Canva. Post it on your platform, tag your parent community, and use the hashtag data and heart to remind others that advocacy is both art and evidence. Next time on episode 8, Engaging Decision Makers Online, we'll talk about how to use your growing platform to communicate directly and effectively with school boards, policymakers, and local leaders. Until then, I'm Lisa Clark, reminding you that when parents speak with both heart and facts, change has no choice but to listen. Have a good one.